Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with a very special event tonight. We want to give our opinion on the Mortal Kombat movie. I'm Bender42, and we got one of my best buddies right here. We got Evelium Gaming,
Hello.
exactly, on Twitch. And we got King Koopa, also on Twitch.
Hello.
I'm going to set it up. I think me and Evelium, how do you pronounce your name?
Evelium.
Well, I'm going to call you Evelium tonight, but you know how to pronounce it. I feel like me and Evelium are kind of casual fans. We're fans of the games, but we're not super fanatics. And King Koopa, I would consider you maybe more advanced. Maybe you're more of a gaming snob, as I'd like to phrase it. Yes?
I mean, I wouldn't go as far as a snob, but I mean, I might know a thing or two about a thing or two with the game.
Let me correct myself. I think we're all gaming snobs, and we're going to be very critical.
Sounds-
But you are you're very, you know the background of Mortal Kombat more than me and Evelium do, I think,
We'll go
right?
detail oriented.
Yeah, I think
when
he
it
like
comes
reads
to
the books and he
to
like
the
reads the
lore.
comics books and shit. He's got no life whatsoever. Um, but actually, there's one thing I want to start with the Mortal Kombat movie that just came out. Before we actually get out into the discussion, I asked you guys to get a pen and paper and write something down for me. And I just want to start off right off the bat on a scale
Okay.
from 1 to 10. Not saying, as far as movies goes, but maybe a video game movie or how you enjoyed the movie. Okay. If you were to give it a
Okay.
1 to 10, 1 being the most pathetic movie you've ever seen, and 10 being completely competent, one of the best movies you've ever seen. I want you, without saying anything, I want you to write down on your piece of paper in big letters your score for the movie. Now, we have not conversed before this at all, and I made that a point of it. We didn't share each other's opinions at all. I don't want that. I want your honest opinion. So write it down using your touchtone keypads. Write down and you could think about it, and you could use half a points too. You know what I mean? So if you want to give it a 9.5, I'm not influencing you. I'm just saying, and it's important to keep in mind that we have not discussed this at all because I want your honest opinion, not going off what anybody else said. I want you guys to write it down, and when you're done, let me know.
I'm good.
Done.
You both are good. Evelium, I want you to hold your score up and explain maybe why you gave it the score.
All right. So if that ever even comes into focus, which it won't.
Can't see shit.
So I actually gave it
7?
2 scores. So I gave it 2 scores. I gave it a 7 and a 10.
Okay, explain yourself.
I'm sorry. I had to because the first score on the 7, based off of what I was asked, is how is it as a movie, and I thought it was okay. Anybody that saw it would probably genuinely enjoy it. Then I gave it a 10 because as a reboot, I thought it was an amazing Mortal Kombat movie.
Fair enough. We'll go in
Okay.
deeper to that, but
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of cheap that you gave 2 scores, but
I know. I apologize. I apologize for that. Yes.
All right. So, King Koopa, what did you give it out of scale from 1 to 10? And explain why.
Solid 8.5.
Okay.
Because when I saw the movie, I thought that it was really cool that they really the things that they did to, I guess you could say, change the story. I mean, it is different from the video games in some aspects, but it's also the same. They kept a lot of really important details in there, but they took some creative liberties as well. And I think they actually, instead of like the first 2 movies that were rough,
Whoa, you hating on the first one, bro? I'm
It's
gonna
not that
stop
I-
you right there.
It's not that I hated it. It's not that I hated it, but they shouldn't have taken a game like Mortal Kombat and made it a PG-13 movie. You know what I mean?
That
You
I
know
could
what I
agree
mean?
with it.
That's
That
the
I
rough.
could agree. The second one really sucked. There's no point in talking about Annihilation at all. I will agree. Okay,
And then
so
as
we'll
a-
get into it.
So as a video game movie, I thought it was excellent. And then as a movie, I thought they did a really good job with the action sequences and things of that nature. I thought it was really cool.
Okay. That's fair enough. That's a good synopsis of the movie. I'm going to be a little more critical of everybody else. And I do agree with you, everything you guys just said, but I gave it a 6.5.
Ooh,
6.5.
that's
And honestly, well, you guys are going to say oof, but honestly, this is a good rating in my opinion because I consider 5 as average. If I give it a movie a 6.5, honestly, I did like it. I did.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm just a little more harsh. I think everybody else is like, if someone said a movie's a 10, maybe I think that movie's more like a 7, and that's a really good rating. But I think 6.5 honestly is good for me, and I agree with what you said. I'm a little bit torn, and we will have a little bit more conversation between them trying to cater to the gaming fans and also trying to make it a movie that everybody could see without knowing anything about the game. But I
Mhm.
think I'll pick you guys' brains a little bit, and I'll make a few really good points as
Okay.
to what was good about the movie and what I didn't like so much about it. But overall, I was entertained. That's the most important thing. I was entertained, and that's why I gave it a 6.5. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So, with that being said, it's funny. I watched the movie twice now. I went to the movies to watch it, and then today I actually watched it right before this, just to watch it again, and that kind of confirmed my belief. And when I was watching the movie the second time, I was writing down a whole bunch of stuff that I'm very picky about. You know, when we started it, it's like we're snobby. We're video game fans, and I think
Yeah.
Koopa's more maybe critical because he's like I would consider him more of a hardcore, not really hardcore, but he knows a lot of the shit. But I wrote a whole bunch of shit down. But I would really like us to focus, and I'll start with you, Evelium, even though I'm mispronouncing your name all the time. What is, I guess let's start with what you really, really liked about the movie. What do you think the movie did well? Not just, for a regular movie, but for a video game movie as well. What do you like about it?
Okay. I think a few times in the movie they do a really good job at psyching you out. If you've played the games and stuff like that, and you've played some of the earlier ones, I think more for the longtime fans, there was like a lot of psych outs with what you thought was going to happen. One particular one I can drag out is Liu Kang's finisher. He summoned that dragon, and
Animality, bro?
Yeah, and it clamped around the waist, and then I thought it was going to tear him in half, and it didn't. Just like the original fatality, as a matter of fact, it actually followed through, and I was all like, "Oh, okay." I wasn't prepared for that. I wasn't prepared for that.
Koopa, feel free to jump in as well, because now it's just freeform. But I could feel that, and also, I don't know if you guys remember. Even though as a regular moviegoer, it may not have been that cool, but at the end of the movie, toward the way end, when Scorpion, like, even though it makes no sense, I'll get into that later, how Scorpion is, like, somehow resurrected, and he, like, Sub-Zero's fucking with Cole or whatever, the main character, and Scorpion from behind hooks him, and then the music comes on, and Scorpion does his trademark, "Get over here." I got goosebumps as a game fan, but as someone who knows nothing about the game, I'd be like, what's going on now? You know what I mean?
So
I think that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
you
go ahead, Koopa. Go ahead.
Go.
You
I think
give
that
us-
I think that a moviegoer who has no idea about Mortal Kombat or anything like that, when you hear "Get over here," you would still think, okay, that's really badass. That dude
You would think.
fuck that guy up. That's what you
Well,
think.
let me put a pin in that too, because in the beginning, actually, I think one of the best scenes in the movie is the very first scene, when Sub-Zero comes to like the village and fucks up Scorpion. My mother doesn't know shit about Mortal Kombat, and I waited for the whole scene to be over. Obviously, that's Sub-Zero and that's Scorpion, and my mother understood that was Sub-Zero because he has the freezy shit, and that's all she knows. But I poked her and I was like, just so you know, Sub-Zero just killed Scorpion. That's Scorpion. And she was like, oh, I didn't know that. Thank you for letting me know. So I think we are snobby when it comes to the game. Like we just
Right.
know what we know, so we
Yeah.
understand that's what's happening, but maybe the casual moviegoer would not know that.
Right. Yeah. So
All
like
I know-
that initial scene really wouldn't mean much to somebody who just went to go watch the movie.
And that's also my
I feel
complaint.
like I don't
Okay.
agree. I don't agree. I feel like that the initial beginning intro thing for people who haven't seen the movie or people who don't know the games, I feel like that set up a plot line for them for
Okay.
the movie.
See, I could go on for hours about this.
Yes,
ahead, Chris.
And I want to bring up a very valuable point here. A lot of people, especially people that got into Mortal Kombat, maybe a little bit more halfway through, don't know that the original Sub-Zero was more dark,
Yeah, they do.
and that the younger brother is actually the good one.
I
If
will
you
put it.
played the later. God, I'm sorry.
Well, I was just gonna go real quickly. When I was young and I played Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat 1 and 2, I thought Sub-Zero was a good guy, and I thought
Right.
Scorpion was a bad guy, just because I didn't know any better. I just loved Sub-Zero for some reason, and I was like, this is a good guy. I want to root for him. But Koopa, go ahead with what you're gonna say.
In the later games, because you're saying that people who got in later don't really know that. No, in the later games, they make it a point to let you know that Noob Saibot is Bihan, and
Right.
Bihan is a dick.
Yes.
Very straightforward about that.
Right.
Well,
I
but-
mean now, but it's also gone through a lot of reiterations to help explain that whole
Well,
situation.
for this situation in the movie, and this is where I was discussing with my mother too. And honestly, I don't even know what the full story is with the game. Maybe Koopa, you could clarify that for us. But you got the Lin Kuei, which is Sub-Zero's clan, and then you got whatever Scorpion's clan is.
Shuriru.
They hate each other. In the movie, where is the motivation for Sub-Zero? There's just the rival clans hate each other, and I understand us as gamers, we understand that. But as far as everybody else is concerned, Sub-Zero is just a huge dick. You know what I mean?
Okay, so for the whole clan hatred thing, the way that they did it in the movie was also, it kind of made sense for the way they had it in the game too. The Lin Kuei, that Sub-Zero was the leader of that. He was the Grandmaster. What he tried to do was he actually tried to team the Lin Kuei up with Outrealm, to make it so that they wouldn't be annihilated when Outrealm took over Earthrealm.
Real dick move.
Yeah, that was his original plan, even in the games. That was what he was trying to do, to save the Lin Kuei. That's why they did in the movie, for the Lin Kuei. That's what he was doing. He thought,
and that's also. I'm glad you said that, because for the Lin Kuei means nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I understand. Like, for the moviegoers in Evelium, maybe you could back me up. Like, for the Lin Kuei, I understand that's his gang's name, but like, what?
It's his gang.
That's just what it is. Just his gangs. Is that what they call it? Gang and ninja gang or something? Like, I don't understand what they call that, but
it's his clan.
It's a clan.
Yeah, it's his clan.
okay, it's a clan. It's a clan.
Yes.
Sorry it's a clan, the ninja clan.
Just to kind of touch base on that, I think based off of something, I actually think King Koopa told me that as well. I think that what might help with that in the future is there are potentially going to be more movies.
I definitely think so too. And
I think that's going to be a statement that doesn't make sense now, but this will go into some stuff I would like to talk about with more of my likes and dislikes as well later.
That's one. Sorry, I don't want to jump. Or do you have anything else? I want to jump in there because I'm going to forget.
No, go ahead. Just jump in. It's
fine. That's one of my main complaints of the movie, is that I felt like I have like 4 main complaints about the movie. And one of them, I feel like they held back on maybe some cool characters that they could have added for part 2.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I feel like some of the characters that they did add, like Molina, and this is maybe, well, let's just get right into it. Like Molina, I thought was super fucking cool, but also she was very underutilized, I feel. The parts that she had, I really liked Molina, but it's like she didn't really have a major role.
Right.
So that was my kind of complaint about that.
Kind of just a deterrent, it kind of felt like to me.
She's just another person to get a fatality, to fuck up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I felt like I was a little bit offended at that. Look at Koopa trying to fuck with his fucking his green screen.
It was starting to jack up in the back corner. I'm so sorry.
Let me. I think it might be better as a format for this. Let me go over my complaints for the movie, and just one by one. I won't go over the side one because I get really picky about stuff. Like I said, 6.5 is pretty good. But number one, like I said, the Scorpion versus Sub-Zero backstory. Maybe they could explain a little bit better, but I understand they got to move the story along, and a game is not the same as this movie.
Right.
I will say, as far as a compliment, I thought the first scene with Sub-Zero versus Scorpion was actually good and hard hitting, and I thought that was some good choreography for the first fight. Do you guys have any comments on the first scene?
Agree.
I agree. I think the first fight was excellent, but the whole first scene I thought was.
I agree, and I thought later on in the movie, I don't know, some of the choreography, the editing was like choppy, and it was not as hard hitting as like, I feel like those two actually knew karate. Go ahead, Chris.
There's one particular edit that really, really upset me, and I believe it was a backflip with Sonya Blade. She does a backflip, and all of a sudden,
yeah,
just kinda...
dude, I know exactly the scene you're talking about, and they do that a lot in some of the fight scenes, actually. But that one especially, I know where she catches the fucking dagger or something, and she's doing like a fucking twirl through the air, like a backflip. So. I think, I think that's the one. It's pretty bad. I agree.
There are some questionable ones, like with the Goro fight. You could see he was trying to do choreography with probably somebody in a green suit, and you could see that there was just some of the stuff was just. But I mean, also he had to do a CGI type fight.
As far as the editing goes, I thought there were some spots were pretty bad. But as far as the CGI goes, what do you guys think about like how Goro looked? Obviously, he's fully CGI. King Koopa. You got any critiques on that?
I thought the CGI was pretty good. I feel like they could have humanized him a little less, but. They also kind of gave him almost like I don't want to say cat-like face, but I feel like Goro's face should have been like really fucking, and it was kind of just like.
Okay. Evelium, you got any critique on that or any response to that?
So I did say this to Frisky, the guy I was watching it with, it seemed to me almost on the borderline of a really, and people are gonna hate me for this, really, really good fan made film.
Oh,
Mm,
that's tough.
yes.
And I'm not saying that it was bad because of that. I actually enjoyed it because it kind of made me look at it that way for a little bit. It was just there was a lot of really rough editing, and and you brought up choreography that the some of it was a little distasteful in my opinion, and they also like went a little extra with some things that I don't feel like you would do in a fight.
I could agree
It's
with you
Mortal
there.
Kombat.
Well, I would say, when I'm looking at choreography wise, I think the first fight was really good, and actually the last fight was okay too. And we'll get to the last fight, but when you look at a movie like John Wick, which I think John Wick, even though I don't think those are the best movies ever made, I think they're very good. The choreography in those movies, I think, are very good. Cooper, you shaking your head? No, is
No,
that
I'm agreeing.
okay?
I
Okay,
love
thank
John
you.
Wick.
So when you look at John Wick's
Mm.
choreography and then Mortal Kombat on some of the fights, it's like I could clearly see. Obviously, it's a movie; it's choreographed, but
Right.
I'm aware that it's Well, not only am I aware of it, but I can see it on screen too. Like I know everything's choreographed. You know what I'm saying. Like me
Mhm.
being a very snobby moviegoer, it's like you didn't really fucking mean to punch her in the face. You knew she was gonna dodge, and she knew she was gonna dodge. And John Wick, they really look like they're beating the fuck out of each other for a few scenes.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
know it's choreographed, but it looks like they're beating the fuck out of each other. And
Yeah.
a few parts of Mortal Kombat, I'll give it that. It did look like it was pretty hard, but some of them I was like, no. Evelium, you got something? Go ahead.
I have quite a few things.
Okay.
So I would have to say, this kind of actually touches on like a whole lot of what we've talked about so far was the readability of the movie. It's like looking at a scene and already knowing what was going to happen. And I genuinely feel like even just your simple moviegoer, as we're calling him right now, I feel like it would have been just something you could have seen, first seen. There is one thing in that movie that caught me off guard.
Go ahead.
One. And
Go
that's
ahead.
at the beginning when Cole had that little nightmare about the scorpion kunai, right? I thought he was going to be like the coming of Scorpion. Like Scorpion's revenge would just like essence through him in some weird way. And I thought that was a little weird. That was my whole thought process at first. And then he all of a sudden got the armor, like the absorbing armor and the tonfa, and I was really hit
See,
sideways by that.
that was a surprise, and I'm gonna go into probably my top complaint of the movie is exactly what you just said. One, Cole as a main character, complete puss in my opinion. Sorry, you know what I mean. As far as the actor goes, I'm not saying he's a bad actor, but he's so generic and cookie cutter, and his special ability is that he grew armor. The armor looked like a freaking Halloween costume that I'd wear as a shitty Halloween costume. I'm sorry, I gotta say that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I was trying to figure out how to quickly rebuttal there. I felt that was actually something that I have on here kind of as a like dislike. I enjoyed his ability because it's not really described, but like throughout the entire movie, he just constantly gets beat up by everything he comes across. And once he gets the armor and he gets beat up, and then all of it, like what I'm assuming his power is, 'cause it was never explained, is that the more damage he takes, he can like reflect it kinetically,
Right.
some form.
Well, see, us as
So it made
gamers, we think
sense.
that though. I that doesn't really need an explanation, I guess. Like he
Right.
found his what do they call it, his Acura or whatever the fuck his special ability
Arcana.
is.
Arcana. Yeah.
Yeah. See, Koopa's rolling his eyes right. Is that what they call it in the game, Koopa? Arcana? I've never
No.
fucking heard that. It's just everybody has an ability. Everyone knows that.
Yeah. I've never heard. I mean, there may be stuff that I don't know about in the games where they called it Arcana, but I don't know anything about that.
That's my major complaint, though, is the main character. I know they needed to use him as a device for the movie, and I understand movies are different than games. You got to advance the plot. But as far as as far as that main character goes, obviously he was just there, I felt, to introduce the other cool characters. And I understand that because I feel like Johnny Cage could have been the main character possibly, but like I'm sure the writer and director were scared to make it's hard to split it up against, for all those characters. So they had a plot device that was Cole, that was like the main character, and he could introduce us to all of the other characters that are cool Mortal Kombat characters. You know what Cole reminded me of? He reminded me of like a Mortal Kombat Armageddon character that was there for one game and was terrible. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? Koopa. No, Koopa's
Okay.
like looking around like he's like, no, this ignorant fuck.
Yeah, he's
You're muted now. You're
I'm,
muted. Look
I'm
at
trying
you.
to think. I'm trying to think of what character though. Like, are you saying a specific character that sucks, or
Actually, they had another specific character that sucked. That's going to lead me into my next fucking spiel I'm about to do. I'm pissed. Cole was terrible. Do you guys like Cole? I mean, come on.
I thought
It's all you guys. Be honest. Be honest.
All right. So I was upset. I didn't like Cole, honestly. At the same time, I know that they were trying to strive away from just starting with Johnny Cage again.
Right.
And I know that they wanted to replace him, so they, created Cole. I didn't like how, like, I get putting your family first and stuff like that, but like if you're getting, if you're getting freaking your ass kicked by Sub-Zero at the end, and your first intention is to begin punching ice off of your family that's already been frozen for Lord knows how long.
Thank you.
Deal with homie first.
yeah,
Well,
I feel like they're already on ice. That beer's gonna stay cold. Go ahead and take care of what you got to take care of.
That beer's gonna stay cold.
Let me jump in there too, because I got a lot of other complaints too. But since you mentioned it, so Scorpion in the beginning, and maybe Koopa, I'll let you go with this one. But maybe you didn't realize how stupid it was until I mentioned it. Maybe sometimes it takes me to point out how dumb something is. And I understand Mortal Kombat as itself. It's hard to make it into a movie. It is a dumb concept, but you got the end fight we're talking about. It's Scorpion versus Sub-Zero. Let me name my first main complaint as a video gamer, and you guys could definitely jump in. It's Scorpion versus Sub-Zero. Why they making Scorpion look weak by having Cole trying to do a 2v1? You're trying to say that Scorpion cannot take Sub-Zero on 2v1. He needs his little buddy Cole there with him. And then they could beat Sub-Zero. I was a little bit offended at that. And also the fact that he's punching ice and also his family could get saved automatically, even though, Scorpion's family was also frozen in the beginning. And I don't know how freezing works, but if I get frozen completely, my body's completely frozen. I cannot come out of that frozenness, which is what his family did. But my main complaint, I know that's completely stupid. My main complaint, Koopa, I know you got a lot to say. My main complaint is they added Cole into the final fight between Scorpion and Sub-Zero, made Scorpion look weak.
I agree. I think that the reason they did that was because he's the main character, so they felt the need to put him in there. But I think it was unnecessary. I think
Shang Tsung could have been made. It should have been a 1v1 brutal battle between Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
It should have been. You're entirely right. But I guess they wanted to have that whole family tie aspect.
I don't like that.
That's why they had Cole in there.
See, that's another thing with Cole. I don't like
the
that.
thing with the whole families being frozen thing. You have to remember that it wasn't just because his family got frozen. Scorpion. He also walked up with his wife, had a sword through her back and into the kid's chest. That they were dead.
I'm gonna double down and say when you get frozen, I did see that. The second viewing, I did see that, and I made a note of it. You don't just freeze completely and then just get thawed out and you're alive again. I'm sorry, that's not the way fucking physics work. I know it's Mortal Kombat and they're cutting people in half and it's crazy, but I'm sorry, you got to follow some rules. Evelium, am I wrong? Am I wrong?
No, for sure. No, definitely not. No, for sure.
But
So
I
I
mean,
thought
if you think about it,
Well,
like that, then any Sub-Zero ability is going to kill somebody instantly.
Well, yeah, and that goes into why I brought this up is why are you going to sit there in a ring with a dude that is trying to fucking kill you with ice powers, right? And your first intention is to attempt to free your family in this little ass octagon. What do you think Sub-Zero's first reaction is going to be?
Because Cole is fucking useless.
Kill them?
Yeah. He already killed him though. Like, how does he get thawed out? It's just
busy, at that point, wasn't Sub-Zero busy dealing with Scorpion?
That's a minor thing. I guess that's not really a minor thing. I think it's a big flaw. There's lots of flaws in the movie like that where it's like that doesn't make sense. But it's Mortal Kombat. You can't think about that too much. But I think my point is actually more troubling as far as a gamer fan goes, is the fact that Scorpion had to team up with Cole to take out Sub-Zero. I'm a little bit offended at that. Shang Tsung maybe should have been the final boss. And this is also another main concern I have with the movies, which I've tried to avoid all reviews and stuff. There's no tournament in the movie at all. There's no tournament. It's like Shang Tsung was like, let me just kill all the people with the fucking Mortal Kombat mark. And I didn't really like that. I wanted to see 1v1 fights. I don't know how you guys feel on the subject, but.
So I do know, I'm not sure if I know I know that I figured that already, and I'm not sure if you're aware of Benda, but the guy who played Bihan is signed up for up to 5 more movies.
I'm
So
not.
I
I'm
think
not
they're
looking
trying
at
to.
sequel. I know. I understand they're trying. Obviously, they're trying to do that. Just talk about the ending. We could talk about that. You know, obviously they're thinking about a sequel.
Right.
Right. But I mean, because and even in the first movie, Shang Tsung was trying to do some questionable shit to take care of people before the Mortal Kombat started, right?
That's
Right.
fine that Shang Tsung is doing that shit,
But that's
but he
exactly what
should have
happened
been
in this
maybe the
one.
main boss. And okay, they're saving him for the second one.
They're probably
But
yeah. That's they're gonna have
that
Johnny Cage kick his ass, bro.
well, okay, and I should be cast for
There you
Johnny
go.
Cage. And then in case anybody wants, I'm available.
You look a lot like him. You look a lot
I
like
look
him.
like old Johnny Cage for sure.
Oh yeah.
Um, that's actually my next complaint about the movie. Well, actually, I'll just go through this. The characters, as far as the characters I didn't like, Cole and Raiden were weak, bro. Weak. Did you like Raiden's character? We talked about Cole already, but Raiden, I don't know if that was the actor that played him. I feel like he wasn't powerful. I feel like he wasn't old enough. I just don't know.
I think they purposely had in the whole not powerful thing because they were trying to really reiterate the whole he can't take part in anything type situation.
Which, let me point out, that's a minor thing. He said one time during the movie, he was like, I can't get involved. Shang Tsung is going around completely breaking the rules of the Mortal Kombat tournament like crazy. He's murdering the fucking combatants. And he's like, well, wait a minute. I can't fucking do anything because it's against the rules. Come on, dude. Shang Tsung's
Yeah,
murdering everybody, dude. The rules are out the window, bro.
I guess that whole concept is the gods go by a different set of rules. So
Evelium, what do you think about the, not so much the act. I don't want to hate criticizing the actor because I think he delivered his lines okay, but I don't know. I felt like Raiden was weak.
Yeah, I wish that we could have seen a little bit more because I mean it was kind of clear that he was interfering in any which way, shape, and form he can, and I mean also the vagueness of what you would consider interfering. I didn't exactly know where to draw the line. Was delivering a kunai interfering? Was stepping in between interfering? Was setting up that barrier interfering? Was like I don't know exactly what they were hoping to get across when they
See,
stated that.
and what you're saying right now, there's lots of shit especially watching the second time, there's lots of stuff in the movie like that. It's like, it's Mortal Kombat. Don't try to think about it too much, but at the same time, it's like, that wasn't really, that wasn't established before, and now they could do it now. And it's like, it's just something to make the plot go along, which I understand. Okay, it's Mortal Kombat.
They hit you with one of those things. It's a statement I like to say a lot. It makes sense if you don't think about it.
Exactly.
Right.
It really does. And that's really the whole movie. It does make sense if you don't think about it too much. That's true. I will say what I did like about the movie, though. I would say, and actually I saw this on Twitter too. People agree. One, I like Molina, but Kano, I thought was very powerful.
Kano,
Favorite
that's
character.
one of my list of likes. That Kano's personality, his character, the cast for him, even the betrayal at the end. No matter kind of how dumb it was, but
Yeah.
I'll get into that later. I think he played his part fucking perfectly. I think Kano was the best character in the Mortal Kombat movie. And
I agree. And
hands down.
I think they added a comic relief. And let me ask you this, Koopa, because you're a better fan maybe of the games, but I thought he was a good, almost like a comic relief character, but he was actually funny. And I feel like maybe they added Kano in, not really added it in, but added his comic relief in to make a relief for what Johnny Cage should be doing. Is Kano that funny in the games? Because for me, Kano was a bad guy in the games. He was not really funny at all. In this movie, he was pretty funny.
The whole sarcastic asshole aspect of it, yes, that is very much Kano. Now, some of the one-liners he was digging in, that felt more like Johnny Cage.
It's a shame because you want to like Kano, and then he ends up. It kind of flips like that too. Like all
No,
he
it
has.
actually, with him doing what he did, that 100% sums up Kano's personality.
Well, and that's one thing they didn't establish in the movies. What's Kano's relationship with Cabal? Because they know each other, but in the
Yes.
movie they never established that. It's like they're bickering kind of for a
Yes.
second.
So,
Go ahead.
That's an issue with the movie actually, because the way things went down with Cabal saying that Kano was the reason he was in the long, that's not true. Anybody who played the games knows that Cabal got roasted alive by Kentaro. Fire breathing. Got it.
Everybody knows that. Come on.
Yeah, everybody knows that. So
Like, sure, yeah.
and Kano actually saved him straight up. Like he's the one who actually kept him alive. And then Shang Tsung used abilities to try to heal his lung, and that's how Cabal ended up being able to run fast. His ability to like super speed, that's from Shang Tsung.
Well, that's the thing with the movie though. They can't go into that backstory and shit.
Yeah.
All they establish in the movie is that somehow Kano and Cabal know each other, and
They were both a part of Black Dragon.
okay, so somehow, and I will admit I'm ignorant to that fact. I'm a fan of Mortal Kombat, the games, but I don't really know that. And
Yeah.
it was kind of they did. That's the problem with having a movie that has so many characters to it. And they're trying to build up maybe the little bit of backstory. So they really had no backstory for Cabal except that he was kind of used to be a friend of, a fucking it's just of Kano. Yes.
The thing with
So
Cabal though is there's so much backstory there. Like he went Black Dragon, then he went cop.
well, that's it. They
then,
fried him, so he's dead.
yeah.
That's the thing with a lot of the fucking characters, I think.
Yeah,
And that's okay because there's so many. You got Jack, and honestly, the rest of the characters, the one character I liked was Kano and Molina. That's two I liked. And Molina was, I mean, she had probably 2 sentences in the whole fucking movie. But
correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Jax introduced in the second game? He wasn't even in the first game.
I'm not
Very
sure if
first Mortal
Jack. I'm
Kombat,
not sure if
Jax
Jax
was not there.
No, I
Jax
think he was
introduced
without the
into
metal arms,
series.
maybe.
No, Jax was introduced into the series in the second game.
That could be true. And Jax was cool too, but it's like you can't love like Cabal's the only character that I actually liked a lot, like I had a connection with. As far as all the other characters, including Liu King and Kung Lao and Sonya and Jax and everybody else, it was like, yeah, they're there and they're doing the shit that they do in the game, but it's like I have no real connection with them in the movies. In the movie, that's how I felt. Chris or Evelium, you got it?
Yeah, if I want to talk about 3 characters in particular.
Go on.
One of them being Liu King. I was actually pretty happy with Liu Kang's character overall. I was more at ease that Liu Kang wasn't made the main character again. I thought that was a little refreshing, to be honest. I would like to talk about 2 characters that I think were done absolutely dirty, and I was very upset about.
I probably concur with it. I want to get on that next. Go ahead.
I want to talk about first is fucking what I assume was Reptile.
Was that though?
Yes.
That was no.
I'm
It
going
wasn't.
to assume was fucking Reptile.
If that was Reptile, that's appalling.
About how dirty he was done again. Like, give this man like fucking more than 2 minutes on screen without just.
He wasn't even referred to as like Reptile Fighter. It was that's why I don't think it was. Maybe they're saving for part 2. But literally, if you haven't seen the movie, I'm sure you have. But they saved him for like a set piece fight where they needed a fight, and it lasted what, a minute. And Reptile got fucked up.
Fucking heart ripped out. And
that was actually Reptile.
That's offensive.
So you guys
that's
know.
offensive. That's offensive, Koopa.
Upset about that. And then the next one was Jax got 10 seconds. Jax got his arms for 10 seconds.
But where did they put him in that 10 seconds though?
I get that.
They put him on the pit.
And I was actually very happy about that, dude. That was my the call back to the map. But like, dude, Jax lifted a rock and fought one dude. I was all like,
that. I could actually forgive that kind of because I know they got a lot of characters to deal with. But his arc is like he got his arms ripped off. And by the way, Koopa, that happens different in the game. You're probably offended, right?
No, it happens. Yeah. It has happened in like different games. So many different kinds. He's had his arms destroyed by now. Sub-Zero, Ermac,
man,
Shang Tsung.
The game is rough. Anyway, in the movie, his arms get frozen and he gets fucked up. His arc though, it feels that's the thing with the whole movie though. Every single character in the movie, their arc, it happens like it's like you don't get invested really. It's like, okay, Jax gets his fucking arms off. Now he's back somehow in the temple. I'm not going to explain how he fucking even got to that temple because what's the point? It's Mortal Kombat, whatever. He's there now because Liu King saved him, whatever the fuck. And now he's got these little fucking baby arms that are metal, and then he like grew to be more powerful, and he's accepted. It's such like a simple arc that lasts really, like you said, 5 minutes almost, and that's supposed to do it. Which I know I'm complaining right now, I'm nitpicking, but
no, I was very upset about it. Like, and like in this leads into a conversation about how the whole Arcana thing works in all seriousness. But is Jax's Arcana really
just
him
arms.
growing new metal arms over new metal
Yeah,
arms. Was
that's
that
pretty
really
much
his
it.
Arcana?
Yeah.
Like, I was
And what
very
about,
confused about
since we're
that.
talking about Arcanas, what about Sonya's Arcana? Made no sense
So-
either.
I am not
Ooh.
upset about Sonya's ability to use Arcana, and I will
But how did
quickly
she get it?
explain.
Okay, go ahead. How'd she get in the movie though?
No.
Oh, she got it from killing Kano.
How
Right.
does she? How is that established in the movie where you kill somebody and you obtain Arcana by killing somebody?
Oh,
In
that
the
was
beginning of the
established a few
movie.
times. Yeah, that was established. A few times.
Bullshit.
It
From
was.
how
How?
Jax got it. How Jax got it.
Yeah, Sonya
Jax didn't
explained
kill
how
anybody.
Jax got it.
Yeah, he did.
They
Before
were
the
on
movie started,
deployment.
they were on a mission. Yeah.
Yeah, they were on a deployment, and he wound up there. She was talking about how, her entire platoon or something like that were getting their freaking asses beat, and then
By
Jax
some
wound
of
up.
the superpowers. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he wound up.
So
killing him
that
and he obtained the mark.
explains. Okay,
Yeah.
they explain the mark. They didn't explain how he has small metal arms and then he has big metal arms. They explain. I know
That's
the mark. You
Arcana
killed.
thing. Yeah.
You kill the person that has a mark and you get the mark yourself. I understand that part. But as
Yeah.
far as and that's okay. So I understand what you're saying though. Actually, I kind of missed that because she got the mark from Kano, but then
Yes.
automatically. That's another argument, though. All these other people are trying to figure out what their Arcana is. She kills Kano, immediately somehow teleports back to the temple and is throwing her little fucking Sonya balls. And is like, guess what? I killed Kano, now I have Sonya balls.
I feel like she was ready for it the whole time. though.
Yeah, I have to
She's-
genuinely say that if there's one small line that she says, and mind you, I only watched the movie once. She says whenever she first gets introduced to Cole and they start actually talking about everything that's going on, she says, "I have been doing this for 7 years."
Okay, I'll buy
She
it.
has been prepping for this for 7 years, and I'm pretty sure, finding links between all these dragon marks and stuff like that.
I'll buy it. See, when you explain it like that, I could buy it. Like, I'm not going to question it because there's so many other things in the movie that are
Right.
worse than that. When you explain it to me, okay, she fucking killed Kano and she already knew shit, so she's throwing fucking Sonya balls right away. I could
Yeah.
buy that.
I'm not happy with it.
Yeah,
With-
no,
with-
she was probably the only exception when it comes to Arcana for the most part.
Well-
I actually genuinely just said okay.
Yep.
and moved on.
Just
Oh.
real quick on that note,
Sure.
and maybe Koopa, you want to jump in, but I felt like Molina's character was really cool, and she was disrespected with the way she was killed. Like, she got fucking killed by a fireball by Sonya, and it was kind of cool when you saw like her open stomach, but one, that would not really kill a person automatically, like instant death, and two, I felt like they really treated Molina like she's just another person to be killed by the main characters. Koopa, what do you say about that?
My thing goes back to the little fireball thing she shot out of her hand. That's not that. It was literally like the things that she has that shoot in the games. They're special
Yeah.
ops weapons.
Well, that's exactly what the movie did too. It's like, okay, Sonya's here now, and now she's doing this thing that she did from the game. I don't buy that shit, dude.
It's
I'm
not
a
the same at all,
moviegoer.
though. And then the whole shooting through Molina thing. That is actually one of her fatalities technically. Because what she does is her
That
hand
is
cannon,
true.
She shoots them and she shoots through and all this stuff.
All right, that's a good point. But also, I want to point out too how weak they made Cole look because Cole was getting his ass kicked by Molina, and then Sonya has to come and save his ass with a fucking fireball.
Cole, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Cole's
The
the 2v1
theme-
champ.
no,
2v1
the-
champ,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah,
The theme,
yeah.
the theme
That's exactly
of
right,
the
Evelium.
movie- The theme of the movie should have been called Mortal Kombat. Watch Cole get his ass. beat.
Honestly, that's a good point, dude. Cole got his ass beat in every fight. If it wasn't
Every
2v1, he got his
single
ass
fight,
beat in
yeah.
every fight. And honestly, you think in the beginning of the movie he's facing an MMA fighter that's like a low-level MMA fighter or whatever, gets his ass beat. He's going to face Sub-Zero and somehow like fucking compete? Come on, dude. This dude's shooting frost out of his hands. And you're getting fucked up by a low-level MMA guy. Like that's just stupid. But that's neither here nor there. But Kano was the best, and I was gonna go on another rant about something else, but I forget what it was. Okay, here's another rant. As far as the characters in the movie, I don't even know the names of these two people because they're such low-level Mortal Kombat characters. What was like Cabal was cool. The other two, could you even name them? Koopa, I'll give it to you since you know the game characters. I know one of them was like in one game, and the other
Reiko
one,
and
General Reiku or whatever the
General
fuck.
Reiko
I was calling him General
and-
Zod. Like, what a pathetic Mortal Kombat character that is,
I
dude.
can't remember the chick's name, but she was in one of the games.
I
They
wrote
both
down
did in the
Shiva.
games.
She's not Shiva though. That's the female version of Goro. What was her? The one with the wings? Nitar or something. Nitar?
Natara.
I think it's
Is it-
Natira.
Something like that, but they introduced, I think it might be Natira and General fucking Raikou or whatever the fuck.
I'm pretty sure Shang Tsung actually says her name and calls her the beautiful.
Yeah, and she literally has like 1 second of screen time, and then she gets murdered by probably one of the best parts of the movie. Kung Lao does his little fatality with the.
I think it's the
that was
splitting
good.
headache fatality. Actually, for some reason I know the name of it. I'm pretty sure it's called the splitting headache.
It's Natara, and no, the splitting headache is the one where he throws it into their face. And then
okay. That's my complaint, though. Like, Natara is clearly there to get sawed in half by Kung Lao. Clearly,
right?
That's the only purpose of her character, and also she's from the game too. But she's from one of the games where they introduced a new character called Natara, and she never came back because she's a shit character. You know what I mean?
No, she was immediately removed.
So, and same. I think even worse. I do remember her from the game. The other one, the General Raikou. I don't even remember who the fuck that was, dude.
He was either in the third or the fourth one. He's one of Khan's.
So why are they giving Raikou more attention than Reptile, dude? Like, real, like all of them are pathetic, but Reptile gets so fucked up. At least Raikou's name was fucking called Evelium. At least they Shang Tsung said General Raikou. They didn't even call Reptile.
My whole thing is like Reptile has always been like this mass deceptionist, like always like sneaking behind people's ears and kind of like misleading with misinformation and stuff like that. And if you just go in to think about like weapons and capabilities, like homie spits acid that can go through anything, and you want to take homeboy that can swing a big ass hammer. That's just my opinion. I get that in the lore he's, fucking Khan's general or whatever the hell, but like
stupid.
I think there could have been more done with Reptile, and I was very upset. Like if they'd have made Reptile be the one that talks Kano into, betraying everybody, it would have made 110% sense. I'd have been like, yep, that's Reptile. That's what he does. Yep.
I also, it's like you build like a honestly, I felt more of attachment with Kano than any other character. And I understand, from the games, Kano's a fucking complete dick. He's probably one of the baddest guys there is. But just like that, boom, now he's gonna be a traitor. Which maybe I could understand that because the lore of Kano, but still, he's the best character in the whole movie. Should have kept him around, and also he gets killed off. I thought pretty quick as well.
That was stupid. I think that was a dumb thing to do, was to kill him off.
Yeah.
They really should have kept him
in. Kano. I don't, but like he was
in that movie.
I believe he was the best character in the whole movie.
He really was
the best, well-rounded.
So I'm gonna circle around to something real quick.
Go ahead
before I forget. Eve, you mentioned Liu King.
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like he was a little weak.
He's a little what?
A little weak.
I mean, no, I said I think he did all right, but
I don't. I think that because if you compare the first Liu Kang to this Liu Kang.
Well, the first Liu King in the first movie was the main character of the movie, though. Pretty much. I mean, they had a lot of different characters, but I feel like the story is really focused on more of Liu Kang.
Right, but I'm talking like just look jacked. Like Liu Kang was really.
Look again. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know, dude.
He's got them crazy little things going on, but I was talking like.
I would say he's very shredded in this movie. Yeah, very shredded.
He's shredded, but he's small.
But that's what Liu Kang should be, though. He's shredded and strong. He's like almost like a fucking, what's the guy's name? Come on, what's the famous kung fu guy? Bruce Lee. He's almost like a Bruce Lee type deal. Yeah. So that's what he's not supposed to be fucking jacked. He's supposed to be shredded up like Bruce Lee, and that's what he was. He was shredded, dude. Look at it again.
But,
I mean, I'm not saying he wasn't shredded. I'm just saying that if I felt like they could have, I don't know.
I didn't think he was bad.
I
think that they kind of dumped him down in the essence of Kung Lao, because Kung Lao was like.
Let's talk about that too, because that's the outrage. I think because I didn't really look, but I saw Kung Lao. He was trending on Twitter, and I think what he was trending about is people are pissed off that he was killed in the movie by Shang Tsung.
He's killed in the game.
Everybody's killed in the fucking game, dude.
No, but I mean.
I was upset.
What game, dude? Like he's back. He's like killed in one game. Fuck it. If I remember correctly, Liu Kang was a zombie in one game, and now he's back perfectly fine. So forget about what the game is.
That's because they redid the stories. But no, even when you look at when they redid the stories in the later games, Kung Lao still fucking dies.
And also, does fucking Cole come as a fucking character and be
Not
the generic
yet,
fucking
sure
dumb character?
Okay,
so forget about that.
Movie.
I feel like they disrespected Kung Lao a little bit because I feel like Kung Lao in the game, which maybe this might not be true realistically, and I don't think it's true realistically, but in the game, Kung Lao and Liu Kang are like equals, bro. You know what I mean? It's like Kung Lao's almost his bro This is bro right there. They're both Shaolin monks, am I right, Koopa? And they're both fucking powerful. But for some reason, Liu Kang gets all the attention. And in this movie, I feel like he just got his soul sucked out, and that was it. And I'm like, that's not cool, bro. There could have been much more build up to that, and the relationship between Liu Kang and Kung Lao. Even though they did kind of establish it, I feel like that scene where he was actually getting murdered by Shang Tsung could have been drawn out a little bit more and have more emotion to it. As a movie maker.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know why, Liu Kang wouldn't just chuck a fireball over there and stop that real quick.
See, that whole thing is so confusing to me too. That whole part of the movie, like they're all like teleport. It's not even a tournament too. Like first of all, they're just coming into the temple, and then they're like teleporting everybody everywhere. Why was it that they couldn't save Kung Lao at that moment? That's another nitpicky thing, you know. But as far as disrespecting the video gamers, Koopa, I'm going to ask you because you are the gamer or the hardcore Mortal Kombat fan. Were you offended that Kung Lao had to die?
Because I played a lot of the other games where he does die anyway, and it's kind of a catalyst for Liu Kang.
So does Liu Kang,
as
though?
Offended. No, but I mean, like in a lot of the stories where they retcon things, what pushes Liu Kang to become even stronger and like really go toe to toe with like Shao Kahn and stuff like that is the fact that Shang Tsung kills Kung Lao. I mean, Kung Lao was killed by Shang Tsung. Yeah, I think at one point he's killed by.
I'm very
Shao Kahn in
critical.
the games.
I'm very critical of movies because what you just said, Liu Kang gets his motivation and shit. And if you look at the scene that happens directly after that, everything, and I think this could be said for the whole movie too. It happens. I'm not saying they should draw the movie out to be longer because I know it's Mortal Kombat. It's a simple, and it's not really simple, but who really gives a fuck? If you're really invested in like the intricate ways of the story, you're gonna have a bad time. But I feel like the fatality scene with Kung Lao was very short, and the scene after that, just like you said, Liu Kang gets his motivation, boom. It's like there's no mourning period at all. It's just like, all right, now we're transitioning. Now that what's the main character's fucking name that I hate? He's the lead. Yeah, Cole is now the leader, and he's taking charge. And Liu Kang is just gonna sit there and be like, "Yeah, we're gonna go teleport to these locations, and we're gonna kill people one by one." It just all. I'm not saying I'm better than the writers of the movie because I cannot think of a better way to do that. But I feel like it happened so fucking quickly. It was like I'm not really. I could be invested more. I felt I could be invested more.
Thank you for mentioning that because that is my biggest dislike about the whole movie.
Thank you.
All of a sudden, out of freaking nowhere, you've got Liu Kang who's been training for years. You have the freaking elder god there with you, and little man Cole's gonna hop in and be like, "I have a plan. Let's do this."
That part I hated, dude. That part was so dumb. That part was so dumb.
Earlier on in the movie, they had established that it was Scorpion's bloodline that was going to lead the champions in the tournament. They established that in the movie.
Yes.
Okay.
I got no problem with that.
So the fact that,
yeah, but it's like he's a little fucking puss the whole fucking movie, pretty much getting his ass beat. And now Liu Kang and everybody else can be like, yeah, Cole, you're now the leader. I don't think so, pal. No offense. I'm going to look to Liu Kang or even Sonya or Jax or anybody else but Cole, pretty much. Mostly Liu Kang, because the whole movie is really filled, and I'm not saying I could do it any better, because you don't really want to focus on what the actual lore and story of Mortal Kombat is. But the whole movie is, not the whole movie, but in between fight scenes. And Koopa, you're laughing because I'm critiquing it too hard, I think, for you.
No, I was laughing because I laughed because you're like, I'm not saying I could do better.
I'm not saying I could do better.
I'm waiting for the butt.
But if you watch that movie again, a lot of the movie is exposition scenes. Like the whole, when he first meets Sonya, it's like Sonya's going over the backstory of what Mortal Kombat is, which I understand. You don't want to focus a whole lot of runtime to what Mortal Kombat is. Everybody that's a fan of the game knows what Mortal Kombat is. But even that scene that we're talking about right now, where they like appear in that white fucking thing, where they're like in limbo or something, and Raiden's like, hey, this is the fucking world in between. We could have appeared here before, but you know what? Let's do it now that fucking Kung Lao's dead and we're in trouble. We could have done that way before. And now fucking this other dude, Cole, is going to be like, you know what? We could have done this the whole time, but let's just teleport exactly to where these people are and kill them. And that's really the rest of the movie kind of plays out.
A few things.
Okay.
Just quickly backtracking, and then I'm going to talk about what you just mentioned.
Go ahead.
The use of Arcana does not, just because you just now can use Arcana, it does not mean that you are all of a sudden on the same level as everybody else. I'm talking about Cole, Liu Kang, Sonya, and everybody else. because I would still have to agree with you with the whole giving it to Liu Kang, because homeboy's been, practicing with this stuff, and if it goes into a 1v1, no matter who the hell he's fighting right there in his close little knit circle, like, he's going to hand everyone their ass. He's been using his powers for this much, and that's a big reason why I had the issue. And then the whole transitioning to the in-between world, or the world in between, or whatever Raiden called it. How come, and maybe I missed something, how come they were able to get there? Because I don't understand the whole issue with Raiden's staff, because he's never had one in any of the games I've ever seen.
Literally,
there's one purpose.
There's one scene where Cole, actually the scene that I'm complaining about, where Cole like steps up, he says, Raiden, could you send us anywhere we want? And all he does is nod. And that's the scene. It's like, well, let's just go to where Molina is right now, and let's have a fight with her. And I thought that was incredibly lazy writing, is really what it is. And that's really what it's lazy writing. Just teleport everybody to where everybody's at. Let's have a little fight.
Yeah, I get that.
It's ended. Some of the fights were pretty good. I was entertained by them, but
it's like, so how long have Liu Kang and Kung Lao been looking for these warriors of Earthrealm?
Unclear.
And you're telling me you could have just Thanos them right there, right in front of you?
So why didn't they do that before?
Yeah.
Now, see, that's nitpicky. You can't think about it too much. Okay, Koopa, go ahead.
He couldn't do it before because he couldn't interfere.
But actually, even during that, he was like, I can't interfere. Shang Tsung is murdering everybody, and Raiden cannot interfere. But then when Cole asked him to teleport him, they can interfere. Anyway, that's just silly stuff. One other main thing I was going to complain about. There's lots of little shit that you could really pick out of this movie. I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to say about disrespect?
I have a lot.
Yeah, go ahead. Just go ahead. Pour it on now, dude.
I have to step away for just a second. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah, go ahead and step out, dude. Don't worry. Me and Evelium will go at it.
So another big thing that I really didn't like was the potential foreshadowing of Noob Saibot.
Did I miss that?
The black shadows going around him whenever he'd enter somewhere hit me kind of like as a quick foreshadowing of it. And then everybody disappearing, all of Shang Tsung's men just kind of disappearing into the black shadows at the end.
See, I missed that shit. The black shadows I did notice, but I didn't make the connection to Noob Saibot.
But nothing happened because he does become Noob Saibot. That Sub-Zero does become Noob Saibot. That was kind of a big thing that like kind of bothered me. I thought like if there was an ending cutscene or something like that just kind of like showed him, Shang Tsung giving him more power, or however they're going to try to give that to you.
I think I actually didn't stay. I don't think there's like an ending credit scene. I actually did like how they were building up to Johnny Cage, even though I kind of expected that. It was like, all right, getting you psyched up for the next one. Right. But again, if you're not, I mean, I understand that too, because this is a fan service for the games. But if you're just a moviegoer and you don't really know much about the games, you wouldn't understand that ending and know that he's going to Hollywood to meet Johnny Cage because he's got the mark and they show the poster of Johnny Cage. Right. But I mean, it's the fans come first. The video game fans come first, so we understood that.
Right.
So I like that.
Yeah. I didn't enjoy the sudden acceptance of everything that was going on. Like at the beginning, it just kind of like started to snow in the middle of the city.
100%.
Everybody's like, "Oh, what's going on here?"
And they're like cool about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, it starts hailing. Little girl stays outside, by the way, for a few seconds while it begins to just suddenly hail. And then he has to tell her to come inside. And then this dude starts slinging around ice. Nobody's really worried about everything. And then Goro shows up. Or am I saying? I'm brain destroying.
Sub-Zero? Sub-Zero?
No. Forearm guy. Goro, right?
Goro. Yeah, that's Goro.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
Well, that part also, the part that you're saying about Sub-Zero coming in, the whole way they reacted to that scene did make sense. And also Jax gets out of the car to like verse Sub-Zero 1v1. No reason for that. They could have just drove into Sonya's house.
Just dipped out.
Yeah. Yep. No reason for that. And Goro, I had a complaint about that scene as well. How is Goro being teleported back to Cole's house? Like he knows where Cole is. Like if they knew where all the fucking Mortal Kombat people that are marked are, why didn't they kill him a long time ago? It really, that part does not. I don't think that's the thing. You can't fucking ask questions like that because like there is no explanation for it, or if there is, it's something incredibly stupid. So, you know, we move on from it.
Yeah. It was just a lot of it that kind of bothered me. I write a lot, so freaking just some issues when it comes to writing bother me a lot.
Well, me too, dude. I'm very nitpicky. I would say for me, my favorite part of the movie, I got three. Well, one really good part because you actually get some emotion in it as a game fan, and that's what I mentioned in the beginning when Sub-Zero's beating the shit out of Cole, which obviously Cole fucking sucks, and then Scorpion fucking harpoons him from behind. But I only get emotion from that because it's like, this is like a game thing, and he says, "Get over here," and he fucking I thought that was good, and the music comes on. It was kind of cheesy, but for me, I thought that was a good part.
So let me sadly, and a lot of people anybody that's ever played Mortal Kombat with me know I play Scorpion. I only play Scorpion. I love Scorpion. I love Scorpion's lore, background, everything about him. He looks cool. I had the biggest issue actually with Scorpion saying "Get over here," and I'll explain.
He didn't
In
say
the movie
strong enough.
No, he only speaks Japanese.
That's a good point. I never thought about that. That is a good point.
Bothered the living.
It's that kind of shit.
Out of me.
It's that kind of shit you don't ask questions about. I didn't even think about that. You're right. He spoke Japanese the whole rest of the movie, but for that one line.
Even to Cole, one-on-one, spoke Japanese to him.
That's a good point. Never noticed it.
It bothered me. And like, that's such a terrible thing to say because I loved it so much. And I was like, yes, my boy's saying it. Like, yes. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I said it with him.
They got to pick a lane. That's the thing with the whole movie. Sometimes, and that happens with a lot of movies. Sometimes something works at one part of the movie, and then for this one part, now he's speaking English just for that one sentence, and now he's back to speaking Japanese.
And there's no real reason. The only reason why the sentence is there is fan service, and I get it. But at least have homie kind of like talk to Cole whenever they first meet in English.
Something.
Even if
I still think that whole. I feel like that whole last fight was very good, but I feel like it should have maybe even went on longer and been more brutal, and it should just have been Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Forget about Cole. Let him punch his fucking family out of the ice fucking thing. Just him with Scorpion, it made me sick because his costume is so fucking dumb. I don't know. I really hated that part. I hated
Scorpion's
Cole.
costume. Oh, Cole's.
No, Scorpion. No, Scorpion's good. Scorpion and Sub-Zero in costume, I thought were powerful.
Yeah, I thought they were awesome. I did not like Cole's outfit all too much, to be honest with you.
I hated it.
For the power that it is, I would assume that it would have been a full body thing.
I feel like one of the lesser Mortal Kombat characters already have that ability. Doesn't Johnny Cage even have that, where he could press something and he could like absorb? Maybe Koopa is a better person to ask.
Yeah,
I thought he could like absorb shit. That's what Cole was doing. He's absorbing shit.
Yeah.
Whatever. The costume, but that's not the fact. That's not the point. It's just that his costume, I thought, looked really dumb.
Yeah. kind of looking over my list. I know you've kind of mentioned some stuff, and King mentioned some stuff as well. I've pretty much covered most of my dislikes and stuff like that. I have a pretty decent amount of liked stuff that I don't think we've really actually kind of touched on.
Let's go over it. I think it's more fun to talk about what we don't like. But now that we've talked about everything we don't like, what's some other stuff that you like? Can you think of anything right now? I got some stuff that we could talk about just off the top of my head if you got nothing.
I actually liked how they went in. It was just a tiny bit, but I actually enjoyed that the hatred for Sub-Zero and Scorpion, their lore actually, even though it was a little changed, came, and we got to see it for what it was.
I would really like to see, and let me pitch this to Koopa now that he's coming back to you. You're still muted, but let me pitch this to you. I don't know if you guys ever saw the animated film. I was talking about this the other day. Actually, Koopa said he did see it. The Scorpion's Revenge animated film. I thought that was better if they did a story like that, where it's about Scorpion, or it's about Scorpion versus Sub-Zero, kind of, where forget about Cole. I mean, come on, dude. So stupid. But
I actually didn't see Scorpion's Revenge. It was on my list of things to see.
I highly recommend it, dude. Highly recommend it. It's awesome. But it's kind of the same. It's the exact same beginning almost. Like Sub-Zero comes in and murders his family, and then he's got to get out of the Netherrealm to defeat Scorpion and shit. They got Sonya and everything in there, but I thought that storyline would have been great to make Scorpion maybe even the main character almost. I thought that would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of did, if you think about it, though.
Cole is the main character of this movie, unfortunately. I hate to say it.
Unfortunately, yeah.
But what they could have done is maybe, once Scorpion got killed, now he's in the Netherrealm, and he's trying to get out of the Netherrealm to defeat Sub-Zero. Maybe he's still marked, and that's actually, I think that's maybe even part of the game, Koopa, where he's marked. And I know in the game they don't have marks, but he's chosen to be in Mortal Kombat. So that's Netherrealm is actually a realm. So he could actually defeat Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat. They could actually have the tournament where that's his motive, though. He doesn't give a fuck about the tournament. He wants to kill Sub-Zero. That's really a story of the animated movie, and I thought that was actually good. Obviously, the animated film is a little bit silly sometimes because it's like a cartoon, but so was the movie, you know?
That's more or less where I thought it was gonna go, and then that's not what happened. That's what I thought was gonna happen.
One of the things, too, that I made, this is a major, well, not really a mistake, but okay, so Cole is fighting Sub-Zero. How is Scorpion? He's like, oh, you resurrected me somehow. Did anybody catch that? I watched it twice now. Did they explain how fucking Scorpion's raising up from the Netherrealm because Cole, is it something to do with his bloody spear? But they never explained that.
Yes.
They never
Okay,
explained that.
So I think because you know how they were talking about how he's been trying to find a way out of the Nether ever since he has revenge.
I don't remember that at all. I think you made it up.
That-
That's what they
that-
said in the animated movie because that makes sense. In this
It's
movie, it was
mentioned-
just like,
It is mentioned. It is mentioned that he is in Nether. That he's in hell, looking for. All he's doing is looking for revenge. So I think what happened is when Cole's blood ended up on the kunai, that I guess you could say that Scorpion's soul was attached.
but
to.
it's not even like it hit the floor or anything. Like I actually, the second time watching it, I noticed Sub-Zero like turns the blade around and tries to stab Cole with it, and he grabs it with like his fist. Maybe their blood's mixed or something, and somehow that's gonna resurrect Scorpion. But maybe it's like a deleted scene that they just didn't put in the movie because it really there was no build up. There was no explanation. There's no explanation to why Scorpion would come back because his blood touched his blood, or whatever the fuck happened. Like it just doesn't make sense. But then again, it's Mortal Kombat. You can't get too picky about these things. But then again, I think 90% of this conversation is us nitpicking, especially me and Chris are hardcore. Me and Evelium are hardcore on the inconsistencies of the movie.
Yeah, and that's kind of hard to say too, because I gave the movie like a fair shake of a 7, like a fair shake of a 7.
Honestly, 6.5 is more like an 8 for a normal person. So honestly, I think I liked it more than even you guys did. And no matter how hard I'm bashing it, that's
Yeah.
usually what I do with any movie. I'm gonna pick out the parts that I didn't like.
Yeah, there were a lot of things I didn't like about it, but there were a lot of things I did like about it. A lot of the stuff that I didn't like about it comes from me playing all the games.
Right. I think, and we could bridge that because we like the games, and I think the characters like Sonya and Jax, they were like good in the movie, but they did like the bare minimum. Like, I think the characters or the actors that played them, they definitely portrayed them, and they gave the backstory a little bit. But it's like you cannot become, as far as Liu Kang as well, and Kung Lao. It's like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, they're Kung Lao from the game, but it's like you give them 5 minutes of screen time and we're supposed to be really connected to them as far as the movie goes. And I feel like that's maybe not enough time, but at the same time, you got so many characters. How could you do that for everybody? Chris, you got something to say?
No, I don't. I was smiling a
Yeah,
little bit.
you
too
get
loud.
it. You get it.
Yeah.
I know I rant a lot, but you get what I'm saying. Koopa,
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
agree? Was there anybody else, Koopa, that you had maybe a problem with? The only problem I had was Cole and Raiden. I did not think was good. I thought Shang Tsung,
And
we didn't talk
people
about
that
Shang
I
Tsung
had a-
much.
People that I had a problem with. So I had if we're gonna go like on a nitpicky sense,
Yeah,
like
definitely.
if I'm gonna super nitpick, that I had a problem with every single fucking character.
Oh, well, obviously. Yeah, but who do you think was done dirty? I think actually, even I wouldn't say Shang Tsung, the actor that played Shang Tsung, I thought was good, but I felt like, I mean, honestly, I think we'd all agree maybe Reptile was done the dirtiest. I think. I mean, that's barely even Reptile.
One thing that I respected about
Yeah.
Reptile was that they used his actual name. Most people don't know Reptile's actual name. And
I
they
didn't even-
slam that bitch in there. Yeah, Sazos. Sazos. Yeah, that's his actual
I didn't hear
name.
that. I didn't even know
Yeah.
that. So
Bring
that's
me
why I
the
was
Reptile
confused.
Sazos. Yeah. And I was like, oh, motherfuckers. Most people don't know that's his actual
I wouldn't even.
name. Yeah.
As far as I think Reptile, as far as like I would consider Reptile one of the main characters, not the main character of Mortal Kombat, but he's in most Mortal Kombats. He was done the most dirtiest, I think. As far as other characters, like that freaking flying lady, she's not really a Mortal Kombat. I mean, she's just there to get
See,
killed. She's there to get
what
killed, and
I-
so is General Zod or whatever the fuck his name was.
Great.
I know that's from Superman, but General Zod, General Raikou,
Great.
he's just there to get killed by Jax. You know, it's come on. Am I wrong?
Right. No, I agree. Oh, piece of shit. No, I agree with you. my thing is if they with the characters they were trying to do, because they were trying to have Shang Tsung. Sorry, I'm trying to turn off this stupid piece of shit on the side as well. The characters that they were gonna have in there with like Shanks as Shang Tsung's people, you know what I'm saying? Like his little side army. I think that a character that they should have used was Ermac.
It would have been
I
better than General Zod. At least I know Ermac a little bit.
I feel like Ermac should have been, because if they had gone with Ermac, then they could have used Ermac to break down Jax.
But they don't want but they want to make Sub-Zero up.
amazing.
Sub-Zero was really, if you think about it, Sub-Zero was the main bad guy, even above Shang Tsung, kind of.
Yes.
That's what I mean. So that's you want Sub-Zero to fuck up Jax, so that makes him look even worse and more powerful as well.
And that's one of the biggest issues I had with it, was the fact that
Yeah, but that's not really bad. That's a thing they had to do to make the movie. I mean, I know I've said a lot of shit tonight, and I hated on this movie. That's the thing they got to concede for the movie. A movie's different than the game. They can't be doing everything exactly like the game. They have Ermac coming out of nowhere. Like Ermac is just like, all right, now he's gonna fuck up Jax's arms out of nowhere. Just as Sub-Zero did.
I have to say that I think bringing in Ermac would have been too difficult to balance for the movie.
I think that's really what the movie's about, balancing, because they can't have too many characters, and that's what they were trying to do. Even the characters that got screen time, a lot of them I thought were dicked around, and even the ones that got more screen time, I felt were also dicked around. Chris?
Well, I mean, even that is just like based off of the characters that we have that are the good guys and their capability set, and then you throw in somebody like Ermac that can just lift you and rip you in half and turn you into a paperweight.
That's hard to do in a movie sense. Yeah, you're right.
I think that would have been a little bit too hard to deal with.
Now, see, I don't know about that, because I think that what they should have done was, instead of having stupid ass Reiko and Natara, they should have had Ermac, Sub-Zero, and damn Reptile. That should have been Shang Tsung's 3.
I could see that, but who would be that throwaway fight scene there? I mean, you could make.
They don't need a throwaway fight scene.
Yes, they do. They needed a fight scene
Fine.
in there. That's why they put Reptile in that fight scene, though.
They should have put like Reiko in the stupid wing bitch.
That's what maybe. But see, yeah, okay. I mean, that's that kind of nitpicking. It's I understand. I agree with you.
Well, I mean, one of the things I did like, real fast, just talking about that, there was a lot of missing characters. There was a lot of missing characters.
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
They had a nice little freaking call out to all of the little artifacts of them, like fucking what was it? Kano trying to steal Quan Chi's medallion, right? Is it Quan Chi's?
It's actually Shinnok's. It's actually Shinnok's.
Shinnok. Yeah,
I noticed the medallion. I forgot that was Shinnok's. Very good observation. Yeah. So that's kind of cool. Little Easter eggs is what we call those, though. Those are Easter eggs.
Just like Kodokan's bust was there.
Yeah, but Molina's. Well, I'm still pissed off about Molina because I thought she was pretty fucking cool, and she gets 2 sentences, like the whole bad guy aspect of it. They didn't really. They could have went more into the bad guy aspect of it. You know what I mean? Like you see the Earth Realms team. What about getting a little backstory on Molina and shit, and don't kill her off in a second? I didn't like that.
If you're gonna have backstory about Molina, where the fuck was Katana?
Yeah.
Well, you can't. Okay, maybe they could have hinted toward that she's like a clone of Kitana or whatever. They could have thrown Baraka in there. What about Baraka instead of General fucking Zod? You're muted now, Koopa. What about fucking Baraka?
I was just angry.
What about Baraka instead of General Zod? Whatever the fuck that guy's name was. Baraka's a way bigger character than General fucking Raikou. Am I right, Evelium? God damn, everyone knows Baraka. Yeah. Even my mother does. My mother knows about Baraka. God damn.
Reiko shouldn't have been there. Reiko should not have been there.
Terrible. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I don't know. What else did we like about the movie? I liked a lot of things about it. I thought overall it was a solid film. A solid video game movie, especially.
I would have to say I actually enjoyed the general use of their powers. I mean, Kano's whatever at first happened, I was like, okay, little bit overpowered, but we'll see where this goes. But I mean, literally for the most part, I don't think any power was used too much. I don't think everything was just used to kind of like, okay, is there anything else that can go on here at all? Like that never came to my head.
I think, and I think each character kind of used their power a little bit, just to give the fan service. But I guess we could fast forward. And Koopa, we were talking about this when you were in the bathroom or whatever the fuck you were doing. The ending. How do you like the ending, Koopa? We'll talk about that. The way ending.
The cliffhanger ending?
Yeah.
Okay. So the biggest thing that I liked about it was the fact that Cole is the one going to find Johnny Cage.
Why do you like that? Cole sucks.
Trying to think of the best explanation for it. But the character similarity in the aspect of how they ended up there. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like
What do
you
you
know,
mean, like
in the
fighting
game,
for Earthrealm?
yeah, in the game, Johnny Cage ended up kind of being like the kind of odd one out, and he ended up being in that. And then you got Cole ended up being in that, and now Cole, who doesn't know what he didn't really know what he was doing, ended up kind of being like that main face for a little while there. Now he's gonna be with Johnny Cage, who has no fucking idea what's about to happen.
Right. Okay, I can see that. I did like the ending because it was a good cliffhanger for me. But Koopa or Evelium, you're saying the ending, the cliffhanger ending, you kind of. I mean, that gives us something to look forward to, I guess.
Yeah,
Johnny
I
Cage.
thought it was pretty good because I was under the pretty much the same impression as well, that I thought that Cole was the replacement for Johnny Cage in this movie, and then it was kind of like a double entendre almost to make Cole the one to go get Johnny Cage.
Exactly.
Where you have the poor kid that's fighting in the slums go get the Johnny Cage Hollywood American badass.
I could see what you're saying, and I was going to suggest that Johnny Cage should have been the main character because it could have been the same story arc where Johnny Cage starts off as like an asshole, and then I mean that would have been a way better arc than what they gave Cole, dude. Like what? Like you start off as an arrogant.
How would they have squeezed in Scorpion?
They could have done the same exact fucking story of what the movie was. Okay, so he's not. They could have worked around the fact that he's a Scorpion descendant or something. They could have worked around that easily, dude. Let's face it. I'm not a writer, but they could have fucking weaseled their way around it. But as far as that whole storyline goes, I think it's a more interesting story to have Johnny Cage as a main character and have him overcome. He's being a fucking prick to everybody, and he's arrogant, and he's a douchebag. And then he overcomes. He works as a team, and he gets his fucking abilities. That would have been a way better story than what Cole was. Come on. There's no story to Cole at all. He loves his daughter and his fucking wife that get like 2 minutes of screen time, and then he's like, he has some sort of fucking armor. Just make it Johnny Cage, man.
Yeah.
All right, so
go ahead.
No, mine is not about Cole per se. Mine's about something else entirely.
But my whole thing is like I guess when it comes to a movie like Mortal Kombat, like, did I enjoy basic cookie cutter main character? I will say a nice
no.
Yes.
No, the main character? Okay, well, yeah, it was cookie cutter, but I mean, how could you enjoy that? It did its job.
Exactly.
What you're saying is,
it's Mortal Kombat. Like as a Mortal Kombat main character, what are we looking for?
I understand where you come from because Cole, and if you look at it from that perspective, Cole was a device used by the writers to introduce us to the cool characters. Because Mortal Kombat, let's face it, doesn't really have a main character. So if you try to make, I'm sure they thought about this on the writing room floor. They thought about making Johnny Cage or Liu King the main character. But let's get a device where he could go and meet the characters, and we could fall in love with the cool characters, and he's more of just a plot device and not so much a lovable character. That's exactly what it was. So I feel like they really could have given him a little bit more. I don't know. I didn't like him at all. I thought he was terrible.
Yeah.
Koopa's just nodding. Koopa's got nothing. Koopa just nodding. It's
my
terrible.
thing is that I mean we can keep bashing on Cole.
Yeah, that's true.
That seems to be like our go-to. It's just let's beat the crap out of the one.
Well, we go back to Raiden as well. Raiden was terrible as well, I thought.
My real question is how did you feel about the subtle, not so subtle nod to the oncoming of Noob Saibot?
Oh, we brought this up.
We talked about this. I actually. Yeah, Evelium caught on to that. That went over my head, dude. The shadows and shit. I noticed it, but I didn't know. And thank you for filling me in. That's cool. Yeah. See, that's a
like
fan thing, though.
Armor drops off. And
yes.
Oh
yeah.
Okay, now that you mentioned that too, that's even more of a hint. Yeah. Okay. So that's cool. As a game fan, that's cool. I missed that the first 2 times. But you're right. Especially not so much the shadows, but especially his armor dropping off. I never thought about that. His armor did drop off, and he was Noob Saibot pretty much. That was cool. Yeah. Okay.
I forgot about that.
Just a random Noob Saibot. Just a random Noob Saibot fact. Noob Saibot is actually Tobias Boone backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the 2 creators of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Good knowledge, bro. I already knew that, but good knowledge. But overall, I
Just
think
wanna throw that in
unless you
there.
guys have anything else, I think honestly, there's so many things that we could say about this movie. And I know honestly, we spend 90% of this like podcast or whatever we're doing, like hating on the movie. I do not hate the movie at all. I think it was a decent movie, and just like we said, it's a good Mortal Kombat movie. I think it's probably one of the best video game movies. It's funny saying all that and then saying it's one of the best video game movies ever made. That's not really a compliment because let's face it, video game movies usually fucking blow. But could
In
you
most
think?
cases, they're bad.
Yeah, could you think
Yeah.
of a better video game movie? Honestly, I mean, I really can't at this point. Maybe if you guys help
To
me.
be honest with you, I've heard good things and I haven't seen it yet. So please don't quiplash me. I haven't yet. I've been saving it. Sonic the Hedgehog.
I knew
heard
you were gonna
was
say that.
phenomenal.
I have not
yet
seen
to see it.
I have not seen it either. I own it, and I have not
Because
seen it.
I am the like, bro, it's actually convenient. I have this here, but like, I'm a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan. So I've been nervous. I've been scared.
Don't want. Well, I'm not gonna say anything. I saw it. I saw.
I
it.
heard it was great.
Yeah. I've
Everyone,
heard good things.
everyone I've talked to said it was great. Well,
Yeah.
you watch a movie, and then we'll have another podcast about how I didn't like it. I like Mortal
Okay.
Kombat much better than Sonic. Sonic, it
Okay.
had its good points, but we'll get into it another day. It did its service, but it was more of like a kids movie. I'm not hating on it for that, but it's definitely a kids movie, and that's what it's meant to be too. You know,
Right.
so
Right? Yeah. No, it's more
yeah.
family friendly.
Yeah. definitely family friendly though. So
Mm.
No, but I will say that in the scheme of like video game movies, I think that Mortal Kombat, as much as we have knocked on it, did a fantastic job. And I hope that they really do continue on with that whole sequel thing that they're trying to do. I hope that they can keep it
I'm
going
sure they
for
will. I
like
mean, I think it's pretty
years.
popular. I mean, I don't know how it took this long out of all like the YouTube things that they created to make a reboot. I know Mortal Kombat Annihilation was a disgusting
That's-
flop just because the movie sucked though. It wasn't
I
because
think that a lot of it was probably fearfulness if the movie was going to suck.
yeah, but I will give a very big credit to the movie, which I think if this movie was rated PG-13, I would have hated it if it
Yeah.
was rated PG-13.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
thank you, movie studio, willing to take the risk on a rated R movie. I think it will pay off for them because that's an insult. That's the only thing I know. The '90s movie, we were talking about that earlier. How it's like cheesy, but it's also kind of good.
So cheesy.
It's rated. Yeah, it's rated.
So
this one
cheesy.
was too, bro. But it was rated PG-13, dude. If that movie, you know, the graphic violence is what Mortal Kombat fans want, and it's a disrespect to the fans. You're making the movie. That's the thing. I could forgive all like the movie shortcomings as a movie, but I could respect it for trying to do a tribute to the fans. As far as that goes, I think the movie did succeed. It did offend me in a couple aspects, but as overall, I definitely think it did right by the fans of the games. Do you guys agree?
Yeah,
I agree.
for sure. For sure. I think it was pretty good. Yep.
As a big fan of the games, I could say that
Evelium
they did all
has Evelium's. I see the look on his face. He may have something here. He's like, no, I disagree.
No. I don't disagree. I think for people like me, I love some of the lore. I don't love it enough to keep updated with what might change in a bio in the next game or something like that. But from my, I will call it smaller well of knowledge about the lore of most people, and I know a little bit, or at least a good chunk about most of the people in it. I think it was perfect for us. But the people that get down into it, play it competitively,
Well-
love it, I think they're the ones that might.
Well, they also
some
they
type of way.
they got to meet halfway and know that a movie's different than a game. I will compare it to
Right.
another movie that actually, when I saw this movie the first time when I was a kid, I actually liked it, but it's completely different because I feel like we'll take the first Resident Evil movie for instance. I feel like that movie disrespects completely the game. It's not a bad movie
Yes.
by itself. It completely disrespects the fans of the game. This movie did not deliberately disrespect the fans of the game like
Right.
Resident Evil
For
did.
sure.
See, we can't even
Like-
talk
like-
about that because that's
Yeah,
one of
that's
my
a whole
wife's-
different thing.
That's,
That's
my
a whole
wife's
different
favorite
thing.
movies. and I
Yeah,
hate them.
I'm not
I
saying
hate them.
I love the first movie when it came out, and I still like it now, but that's not like as a Resident Evil fan, I'm offended. And it was deliberately offensive, deliberately cash grabbing. This movie, they're deliberately cash grabbing on the properties of Resident Evil. There's
I just
nothing
don't know how
about
you
that
take a
movie.
horror game and you turn it into an action movie. That's just,
That's neither here nor there.
Exactly.
Don't get me heated, man. Don't get me
Pretty-
fucking
I-
heated.
you
Well, then
press the
also,
button.
I think actually Resident Evil 2,
Don't.
his
no,
second movie.
No, stop.
Well, even just Resident Evil 2, they add Jill Valentine to the thing, but Jill Valentine, they might as well not even had her in it because she's so
Yeah.
pathetic compared to
Yeah.
Alice, the character that they
Right.
created. At least this movie, like actually, I kind of like that Cole is so pathetic because in this Mortal Kombat movie, He is just a conduit for the other cool characters. And that's exactly what it is. I think the writers and actually the director realized that. As far as Alice goes, come on,
Yeah, and,
bro.
and when did we get Chris? 7 movies later.
Oh, Leon too. These are only names of they're only from the game by name. It's like they get killed off immediately, and they're so terrible and pathetic. It's like, come on, dude, you disrespected. You're making this movie for the fans of the game. It should be secondary as far as Hollywood goes. But see, the Resident Evil movies are doing the Hollywood thing first. I think this movie actually did try hard to respect the games. But anything anything else you guys got to say? I mean, I think that was pretty good. I think people want to hear what we got to say. Chris, you got anything?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think we covered most everything. I mean, I know it sounded like 99% of it was just bashing it, but it's like we're just picky. We love games, and this is a movie
as fans of the game. I'm sure the director and writers and actors too. When I say I do hate a character in this movie, I'm not hating on the actor at all. I don't think it was really bad acting. I just think the character itself wasn't good. So don't think I'm trying to discriminate against the actual actors. I think they did good. Koopa, what do you got,
exactly? I was just gonna say that again reiterating we said we liked the movie and then we proceeded to do almost nothing but talk about the things we didn't like. But that's going to show how much we did like the movie because we liked the movie enough to find things we didn't like.
We would not be doing this right now if we did not like the movie or have a passion. We have a passion for the games. You know what I mean? So
for sure.
People are definitely gonna make fun of us if they watch this. We shit on the movie literally for 99%, and then at the end, but it's a great movie. It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
I would recommend people to watch it.
I would, especially if you're a fan of the game, you should definitely watch it. No question.
Just be warned, you are going to have some things that are going to aggravate you a little bit, and that's all we're talking about. So things that may aggravate you.
I mean, what's more fun? Taking out the stuff that you actually enjoyed or the stuff that you need to, I want to critique stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I stand by my thing. I think it really should have been, if it wasn't a Johnny Cage main story, I think they should have really focused on the Scorpion Sub-Zero conflict. Scorpion maybe should have been the main character of the movie. That's a bold statement, but I think they rearranged the movie a lot. That would have been fucking sweet, dude. Because that's those are the most exciting parts, in my opinion, is Scorpion versus Sub-Zero. The beginning and the end was really good.
And the end, yeah. Well, they also kind of brought the movie full circle that way, too. That's how I think, too.
It did. Yeah. I know they had their reasons. I'm sure this is what they talked about on the writing room floor as well, but Cole was such a fucking puss, dude. That's all I got to say. If there's anything you get out of this video, Cole is a fucking puss. We didn't really talk about Goro that much, but yeah, I guess I thought he got killed off pretty quick too.
He got too early.
I was not happy about
I will say though, I thought the CGI. We were talking about the editing and the CGI. I thought was good. The editing, it cut to exactly like you said. They're doing flips through the air and then they're magically they just edited it.
Very rigid cuts.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, definitely. And they didn't do any reshoots to fix it. They were just like, all right, we're just gonna edit this part out.
Send it.
This person just teleported across the fucking screen. See, a normal movie person would not even fucking notice that, though. Us, we're taking notes while we're watching. Oh, Sonya fucking teleported during this flip. Not a fan.
Not a fan.
All right, guys. Well, thank you. Honestly, we could do this every week with something new. Honestly, I think it's funny. Maybe it'd be shorter, but it'd be shorter. Maybe next time. But guys,
it doesn't have to be shorter, but sorry.
I mean, I have fun with it. This is Evelium. Is that how I pronounce it? Evelium Gaming.
Evelium.
Evelium on Twitch, whatever. And you got a YouTube channel as well. I'll put all the links in the description, and of course King Koopa also on Twitch. I'll put his link down there. He's an awesome dude. Thank you for watching our rants. I know we went on and on there, but thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Yeah.